In today's class, we will be learning about what is a class, what are static variables, static functions, non-static variables, and non-static functions. Okay, then what is a class? Let us see what is a class. In normal terminology, class is a what is class? Class is a category. Class is nothing but a category. Okay, suppose that and each and every uh, object, or what you call each and every object in this world, belongs to some class. Means suppose tiger. Tiger belongs to which class? Belongs to animal class. Suppose chair. Chair belongs to some non-living thing class. Okay. The same way, dog belongs to the same animal class or domestic animals class. Okay, whatever the class we name. Okay, means every object in this world belongs to some class. Okay, if you name any object that belongs to some or other class. Okay, so class is nothing but a category. Okay, class is a category, and each and every object in this world belongs to some category or some class. Suppose suppose we take one suppose boys class. Which class? Boys. Boys class. So this boys class, actually obviously the boys class contains some boys. Okay, suppose this boys class contains some objects in the sense individuals. Okay, some objects or some individuals objects. Okay, this boys class contains some objects. Okay, in the same way, some girls class will be there, and they also contain some objects. Okay, objects in the sense those are the individuals. Okay, which belongs to that class. Okay, these are the objects which belongs to boys class. Suppose I am there, I belong to boys class. Okay, so, uh, let us think that there is a class called boys, and there are different individuals in that boys class, which I am calling it as objects. Those individuals are called as objects. Okay, in my terminology, in Java terminology. Okay, so, and as I know that each and every object in the boys class will have some properties. What they will have? Will have some properties. Properties means um, what are the properties? Suppose uh, number of legs is one property. Uh, Number of hands is another property. Then we are having hair color. Then can you say any other things? Hair color or skin color, skin tone, and name Name is also a property. And then class of study. Class of study is also a property. Then interested game. Okay, these are some of the properties. These are some of the properties. There may be other properties also. Okay, but I am listing some of the properties. These are some of the properties that a boys class is having. Means that the objects of the boys class is having. Okay, these are some of the properties. Okay, now my question is that what about this number of legs? What is the value of this number of legs? How many legs a boy will have? Boy will have normally how many legs? Two legs. Okay, and how many hands a boy will have? The same, two hands. Okay, so here means boy will have means this number of legs and the number of value number of legs value is 2, and this value will be same for all the objects in a boys class. The value, what is the value? This is the property. Number of legs is the property, and the value of this property will be same for all the objects in the boys class. Do you agree for that? Right. Means all the boys will have only two legs only. No one will have 4 or 5 legs. Okay. Okay. Genetically, he is not disorder. Genetical disorder is not there. A normal boy will have only two legs. The same way, the value of number of hands is also 2, and it is also same for all the objects in boys class. This and this means that the value of hands will be same for all the objects in a boys class. Means this what for this what we can say that this property value each these two they are two are the properties whose value is same for all the objects in a class. Okay, this type of properties are known as are known as static properties. These properties are known as static properties or static property. This is a static property and this is also a static property. 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 Properties are also known as variables. Variables. Properties are also known as variables. This shows that the the value if the value of these variables is same for all the objects in a class, then that type of variable is known as static variable. What you call it as? This is also known as static variable. Variable. This is also static variable. Understood? Okay. Once again, I am telling the definition for this. If the variables will have values, okay, variables will have values. Okay, if the value of the variable is same for all the objects in a class, then that type of variable is known as static variable. That type of variable is known as static variable. This is known that number of legs is a static variable. Number of hands is also a static variable. Okay, then what about this hair color? What about this hair color? The hair color will be changing from object to object, or it is same for all the objects? Means all the boys will have the same hair color? No, it will be changing. Okay, it will be the hair color will be changing. In the same way, skin tone is also changing. Everyone will be not white or everyone will not be black. Okay, it is also changing from object to object in a boys class, in the class. Okay, okay, one or two will be means the same, means same white, but all the boys will not have the same color. Okay, the same way name is also changing from object to object. Name will not be same for all the objects in the boys class. So name is also changing from object to object. Okay, but uh, what about the class of study? Class of study is also changing because it is a boys class. Like a boy studying first class will be there in the boys class. A boy studying PG or doing PhD also will be there in boys class. Okay, so it is also changing from object to object. Okay, one will study first class, one will study second class, one will study PG, one will study degree. It is also the value of this variable also is changing from object to object. Okay, what about the interested game? Interested game is also changing from object to object. Every person will not be interested in playing cricket. Okay, or football. Okay, every means okay, 10 or 15 people may have the same interest, but not the every boy will have the same interest. So this value is also changing from object to object. This means that all these variables values are changing from object to object in a class. This means that these all variables are non-static variables, or variables can also be called properties, non-static properties, property, sorry. Okay, these are all are non-static property. This is a non-static property, non-static property, non-static property. All are non-static property because the value of these variables are changing from object to object in a class. Okay, then how to declare a non-static letter we will see. Okay, uh, boys is a class and these are the objects and these are some of the properties of the boys class. Okay, they are number of legs, number of hands, hair colors, they are all properties. Okay, then in a class will have some objects. Those objects will have some properties, and those objects can perform some action, can do some action, can do some action. Apart from having some properties, they can perform some actions. Means they're having legs. They're suppose that boys is there. Boys contain legs and hands. Means they will do some action. No, okay, with those hands and legs. Okay, so suppose that I will list out some of the actions that these objects can do. Boys can play. That is one action. Boys can read. Boys can eat, sleep, mm, and what else they can do? Dance. Okay, dance and all. Okay, we'll take these four things. Okay, there are many other hundreds of things that a boy can do, but we'll take this um, four. Okay, or the simple thing, breathing also you can do. Okay, so we'll take some five things. What about okay, we'll play, read, eat. Okay, leave it. What about this breathe? every see every variable, this property will have some value, means variables will have some values. In the same way, uh, actions are nothing but actions. These are all called actions. Can do some actions are nothing but methods, nothing but functions. Okay, the actions are called as methods. In some language they are called as functions. Okay, so we'll call the same thing. Okay, functions. Okay, functions, methods, actions, everything are same. Okay, now what about uh, what you call the logic? Every function will have some logic. What is the logic of breathing? What is the breathing logic? Inhaling the air and exhaling the air. That is what is the logic. No one will. Everyone will do the same way. First inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay. No one will first inhale for 1 hour and exhale for the other hour. Okay. So everyone will do the same thing. Inhale and exhale. Okay. The logic of the function is same for all the objects in the boys class. This one the logic is not going to change for all. It is same for all the objects in the boys class. Okay, in the class. Okay, in the same way sleeping also the logic will not be same. Sleeping means um, closing the eyes and sleeping. Okay, no sir, somebody will say okay, somebody will do some sounds while sleeping. Okay, that is a disease. Okay, normal way is not. It is a normal way is closing the eyes and sleeping without doing any noise. Okay, and that is same for all the objects in a class. Okay, the logic is same until and unless they are having any diseases. Okay, so breathing related diseases. Okay, otherwise they will sleep normal by closing their eyes. Okay, somebody will sleep by without means opening open eyes. Okay, that is a disease. We are not talking about the diseases over here. Okay, the normal logic is closing the eyes and sleeping. That is what is closing the eyes and relaxing. That is what is sleeping. Okay, so this logic will be same for all the objects or changing. It is same for all the objects. So this is known as this means this type of functions means this type of functions whose logic is same across all the objects in a class, that is known as static functions. What is a static function? What is a static function? If the logic of the function is same for all the objects of the objects in a class, and it is known as static function. In the same way, what is a static variable? Static variable, if the here it is not the logic, here is the value of the variable is same for all the objects in a class, then it is known as static variable. In the same way, what is a static function? If the logic of the function is same for all the objects in a class, it is known as a static. It is known as a static function. Okay. Okay. What is a non-static variable? If the what is a non-static variable? Here we will write it. Okay. Non-static non-static variable or property. Someone will call it as property. Non-static is a non-static property if the value of the variable is changing changing from object to object in a class, then it is known as non-static variable. Okay. What about these things? Playing, reading, eating. If the logic is same or different? Means suppose that playing. Suppose that uh, somebody may like cricket, somebody may like football. Okay. The logic of cricket and the football is different. Okay. So what about this eating, reading? Suppose that boys class contain the boy studying first class as well as the boy studying PhD or PG. So how the boy studying first class will study A, B, C loudly, and how the boy studying the PG will read like he will not even sound, even he will only what you call murmuring sound. Okay, he will give only murmuring sound. This means that the logic of reading will be changing from object to object in a class. In the same way, eating also, the logic will someone will eat her left hand, someone will eat her right hand, someone will eat with spoon. Okay, the logic will be changing from object to object in this class. So these type of functions whose logic is being changing from object to object in a class, then those type of functions are known as non-static functions or non-static methods or non-static actions. Non-static functions, non-static methods or non-static actions. Everything are the same. So what is a non-static function? Non-static function. If the logic of the function is changing from object to object in a class, then it is known as non-static function. Okay, understood? A class is nothing but a category. Every object in this world belongs to some category or some class. Okay, suppose that we are taking the example of a boys class. There are some objects in the boys class which are the individuals. Okay, every object will have some properties. I have listed some of the properties. If the property value or the variable value is changing, is same for all the objects in a class, that type of variable is known as static variable. If the property value or the variable value is changing from object to object in a class, then it is known as non-static variable or a property. Okay, then what is an action or a method or a function? Okay, every action or a function will have some logic. Okay, these are some of the functions of this boys class. Okay, so here also same thing, sleeping and breathing are the static functions and rest of the are the non-static functions. Okay, what is a static function? If the logic of the function is same for all the objects in a class, then that is known as a static function. If the logic of the function is changing from object to object in a class, then it is known as non-static function. Understood? Static function, non-static function, static variable, non-static variable. Variables are also known as properties. Functions are also known as methods or actions, all are same. Okay, now the main motive is how to create the static variables and the static functions, non-static variables and non-static functions. Okay, what we will do is I will open, I will create one project, right click, new project, uh, okay, Java project, next, uh, here I will give class 2 or class 2, finish, no, okay, class 2 is been created. In this, I will create one module or what is called package, mod. How to create a class? Right click on the module. Each class is there. Okay, class name I will be giving boys. I want the main function in that, so main. Okay, boys is the class, mod is the package name. Now what I have to do is first I wanted to create a static variables. How to create a static variables? These are the names, number of legs, number of hands. Suppose that number of legs. I don't want to create those functions, those variables has to be created not inside the what you call functions. Okay, these are, I wanted to create a global variables. So number of legs, this is a variable name. Number of legs will be 2, 4, like that only. No, for boys class it will be only 2. That's why I'm initializing with the 2. It is not compulsory that we have to initialize it. First I will do one thing, I will not initialize it, and it is holding some integer value, so we have to write the data type in front of the variable name. Before, while in running stage, go in this way. Okay, from right to left. Okay, first give the name of the variable, then the type. It is an integer, int, and here integer is a primitive data type. Okay, here see it is showing some red color. Okay, something is showing in black color. We will discuss all those things later. Okay, uh, why it is the color is being red and here it is why it is black. Okay, this is a primitive data type, it's integer. Okay, later stages we will be discussing more on data types and all those things. First bear with this. Okay, first number of legs is an integer type data, and number of legs, the value of number of legs is what is the number. Suppose I am giving here 2. If this value is changing from object to object in a class, or it is same for all the objects. It is same for all the objects. The value is same for all the objects. So it is a static variable. So we have to write here static. Okay, and I wanted to use this variable in my entire project, across all the projects. So I have to write public. Now the other this is known as the access modifiers or access specifiers. So later we will be discussing on this access modifiers. At present, uh, bear with me and okay. Why I am writing public means I wanted to use this variable in my entire project. Okay, so I'm writing it as public. If I wanted to use only in this class, then I have to write private. There are other special modifiers also. We will be discussing those things in a separate class, but at present write it as public. Okay, because I wanted to use this in entire project. Okay, across all the projects. Okay, so uh, this is how we will declare a static variable. Okay, then how to declare a non-static variable? Here in my example, let us take one this is one static variable. Name, we'll take name. Name is a non-static variable. So how to declare a non-static variable? First write the name of the variable, name. Okay, I am not initializing it. And name is it is not an integer type. Okay, it is a string type. String. Okay, data type is string, but it is showing error over here because in Java, string is a class, not a. Even though we are using it as a data type, it is actually a class. So you have to write capital S. Okay, later we will be discussing on this. Okay, first bear with me uh, and okay, you keep it as string. Okay, string with S capital. Okay, and it is not a primitive data type because the color has not been changed. Okay, and this is a class. We can use class as a data type. Okay, later we will be discussing on this. So this is a data type, this is a name of the variable, and now this name, the value of the name will be changing from all the object to object in the class, or it will be same. It will be changing from object to object. Okay, name will not be same for all the boys. Okay, name will be changing. So it is a non-static. We have to write it as non-static. No, we should not write it as non-static. Okay, you should not mention anything over here. Means that it will be taking it as non-static. If you write static, it will static keyword, then it will be treated as static. If you will not write anything, means it will be treated as non-static. And I wanted to access this variable in my entire project, so public. In this way, we have to declare a non-static variable. For static variable, we have to write static. For non-static variable, no need of writing anything. By default, it will be taking it as non-static if you won't write anything. Okay. So this is the way how you are declaring a static variable, how you are declaring a non-static variable. Then what about the static functions and non-static functions? How you are going to declare a static function and how you are going to declare a non-static function? Okay. So suppose that let us take one static function, breathing. Breathing is a static function, no? Breathing or sleep. You take breathe, okay? Breathe is a static function. So first we have to write this name, right to left. We have to write no breathe, B-R, breathe. Okay, open brackets, close brackets, and every function will have some logic and it can return a value. Okay, every function will have some logic and it can return a value. So for writing the logic, we have to give flower brackets. Inside that we can write some logic. Okay, some we only one statement, so system.out.println. We will write the same statement, syso control space, and I will write my name over here, or sample program I will write, or I will write my name. Okay, this is my name. And okay, here it is showing the error message. Why it is showing the error message means uh, something is missing over here. Okay, what is that missing means? This is what I told was every function will have some logic, and it can it is having an ability to return a value. But in this case, I don't want to return any value. Later in the later stages, we will be discussing on how to return a value and what is returning a value and all those things. But at present, I don't want to return any value. So I will write it as void. Okay, even though it is having the ability to return a value, but I don't want to return any value. Suppose if you are going to return any value, then you have to mention the type of data I am going to return. Suppose I am going to return an integer type, I have to write int. If I want to return a string, I have to write string. Okay, but at present I don't want to return any value, so I will write void. Okay, later stages we will be discussing on how to return a value and all those things and how it is useful in my project and all. First of all, I don't want to return any value, so I'm writing it as void. Okay, then breathe is a static function or non-static function. Means is the logic breathing logic is changing from object to object in a class, or it is the logic will be same for all the objects in a class. It will be same for all the objects in a class. So we have to write a static, and I wanted to use this function across my project. So public, sorry. Okay, this is how we are going to declare any function. Function name, some logic, return type. If the logic is same for all the objects in a class, then static. And what is the access mode for public? Okay, see here, this is a main function, which is a main function which we got um, here. Is also public static void main, because main is also a function which does not return any value, and the logic will be same for all the objects in a class, and it can be accessed throughout the project. That is what it means. So you have to go from right to left while running. After you got experience, we can write public static void main, public static void breathe, public something like that. Okay, but we have while running we have to write in reverse way, so that we can understand why you are writing these things. Okay, then what about non-static? What about non-static functions? No, take one non-static function in our previous example. Play. Play is a non-static function, or read is a non-static function. Okay. Mm, read. Okay. Read. It does not return any value. Void. And is non-static. We have to write non-static. No, it is not required. Okay, if you are not writing anything, means it will be taking it as non-static. Public. Okay. Okay. And I will take another non-static variable over here. That is class of study. Class of study is also non-static. Okay. Class of study means first class, second class, intermediate, uh, PhD, something, MBA. means it is a string. It is a string. It is not an integer, and it is non-static. So no need of writing anything. Okay, we have to write public, and I wanted to use this in across my project. Okay, so now I wanted to use this variable here. Okay, I wanted to use this variable here. Okay, means it is read. I am reading 10th class, or I am studying 10th class, something like that. I wanted to print I am studying some 10th class or 12th class, something like that. Okay, and which has to be changed from object to object. Okay, first SYSO. Uh, let us let us think about. I will not write anything over here at first. First, I will check how to use static things, static stuff first. Okay, then we will go for the non-static stuff. Okay, first how to use the static stuff. First of all, I wanted to print the value, this value, number of legs. Anything which is written in the main functions will be executed. So I wanted to print over here. Okay, I am using SYSO. What I wanted to print, number of legs, number of legs directly. I am writing the variable name over here because that variable name will be same for all the object across the boys class. So directly you can use it. Okay, directly you can use it. I will run this code. Means what will be the output? First the main function will be executed. In this main function it will go, this statement will be executed, and there may no other statements, so only 2 will be printed. Okay, we'll see for running control. First you have to save it. You have to press Control F11. 2 2 is being printed in the console. Okay, right. So this is about the static variable. Directly you are using the static variable. And what about the static function? Where this is a static function over here, breathe. So to execute the statement inside the breathe function, I have to call that function in my main function. So what I will do, I will call that. How you can call it? Directly you can call it. What is the name of the function? Breathe. BREATH. Breathe directly. Colon. Okay. Directly you are calling it. Means first what will be printed, or number of legs will be printed. The 2 will be printed. Then breathe state. Breathe is a function. It will go here to breathe function, and the statements inside the breathe function, that is my name is there, that will be printed. Okay, let us see. For what you called, for running, what you can use, you can directly simply run press this button or Control F11 to my name. Okay, so this is how a non-static variables can be used, a non-static function can be called. A static variable and a static function can be used. What about a non-static stuff? First, let us take the non-static stuff. Okay, suppose that COS. COS. What is a COS? Class of study. So here I wanted to give some value, class of study. It is a string. I wanted to give inter. What I wanted to give, or 10th. I wanted to give 10th or inter. But not enter MB. I wanted to give MB to this value, to this variable. So what I will do is, this is a variable, so I will give COS is equal to, this is a string, so MBA. Can directly give this like this. No, it is showing some error message. Means, okay, you are saying that, okay, MBA, you are saying that to load MBA in COS, but actually, whose value is this? Whose individual? Means, because the boys class contains number of objects. Whose value is this? So we have to first create an object. Okay, first we have to create an object, and we have to say that, okay, for that object, uh, ha- for that object is having some property COS, and this is the value of that property. So what we have to create? We have to create an individual, create an object. Okay. Anyhow, that object will have this property, COS property, and we have to say that this MBA is the property of that object, not other objects. Okay. First, we have to create an individual, create an object. Okay. Here, properties are there, functions are there, but objects are not there. First, we have to create an object. Means boys class is there. We know what are the functions, what are the properties a boys class is having, and what are the functions that can they perform, what are the properties they are having, and what is the functions they can perform. But we have not created the objects, we have not created the individuals. Okay, what we have to do is we have to create the individuals, and we have to assign values to the properties. Okay, and do some give some action, give some logic to the actions. Okay, so what we have to do is first we have to create some objects. What will do object? First I will create the object. Object will be created. Okay, there is a separate class for that creation of the object and how it is actually creating. First first blindly you create an object by first writing the class name. What is the class name here? What is the class name? Boys is the class name. Write the class name boys. Then write the object name. Object name I want obj. Object is equal to new boys, brackets open, brackets close, semicolon. This is how we are going to create an object. In the later stages I will be discussing what is the meaning for this. Okay, why this new is there. Okay, why, what is this. Okay, later stages I will be discussing on this. Okay, so at present boys, I have created an object, obj object. Okay, means that new means some memory location will be allocated, and all those things we will be discussing later. Okay, now means I have created an individual. Okay, now this individual is a object of boys, so it will be having these properties, and it can perform these actions. Okay, static and non-static actions it can perform. In the same way, it will be having static properties and non-static properties also, because it belongs to boys class. It will be having all the properties and all the function, all the properties of the boys class, and it can perform all the actions or the methods of the boys class. So now what I wanted to do is, okay, anyhow, what about this non-static stuff? No need to give any non-static stuff, especially to him. But what non-static stuff? Suppose I wanted to give the some value to the class of study. So what I will do is I wanted to say that, okay, this individual obj class of study COS is MBA. Now I am giving it. I have created an individual, and I am giving it is having some properties. In that property, COS is one of the properties. I am giving some value to that property. Okay, in this way, a non-static stuff or a non-static variable will be will be given values. Okay, we have to create an object and we have to give some value to the property or the variable. Directly you can't give the value to the variable. Okay, you have to create an object and you have to use it. Okay, I have given some value to this object. Now what I'm trying, this is an okay, this is a non-static function. Now I wanted to print, what I wanted to print is I am studying. This is a concatenation symbol, plus can be used. I am studying whatever MBA something. So COS, whatever the value it is there in COS, okay, it has to be printed. Okay. Now I wanted to call this function. Now I wanted to call this function. So if it is a static function like breathe, directly I can call it as, but it is a non-static function. Okay. So I have to call this function through an object. Anyhow, I have created an object here. So uh, I wanted to, if suppose that I wanted to call this object's function, then I have to give obj dot read. Suppose I wanted to create another object, then I have to create another object. I have to give that reference while calling. So at present I don't want to give another reference. So I wanted to use this obj only. So how we'll do obj dot here, what is that function? Fun. One second, it's not studying. It is dot, one second, study read. No, what is the function name? Read dot read. See here, read, it does not return any value and it belongs to boys class. Okay, this way we have to call. Now what will be printed? Anyhow, these two things we know. What two will be printed? My name will be printed. Then here read, it will go to read. First, object will be what you called object is been created, and in that object, for the property COS, MBA will be initialized, and what it will do, I am calling this function, it will go here. What is this read? This is an object dot read. So it will print my name. Okay, I am studying equal to, so I will take this equal to I am studying MBA, because obj.cos is MBA. I will save it and I will run it. I am studying MBA to customer. Okay, this is how a non-static or a static variable and a static function, a non-static function can be used. Okay.